All right, welcome back to another episode of the Ekkocast. You guys have been loving this. We've been highlighting different athletes from Ekkovision, and today we have the one, the only Raf. Is your full name Raf?
As far as social media knows, I think
so you're hiding.
I'm not
your
hiding
legal
my
name?
identity, but like to me, it's weird when people like stalk me and find my government name and comment it or something, because it's like as far as you know, like I am Raf. That's I am Raphael. That's
I was gonna say it's something related to Raf. I would assume.
Yeah, or like my dad's Central American, so you'd like roll the R, leave a little accent.
Gotcha.
Fancy with
Canadian, but Central American background.
Yeah, yeah, but you wouldn't be able to tell because I do look quite not that.
Not that. That's a good way of putting it. But
am I looking at this camera if I want to?
You can. So like I look at that camera whenever I'm talking, but then I'll also like look at you.
Yeah.
So if I'm addressing the audience, I'll talk to them like that. But
Cool.
we're just talking back and forth.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them.
Okay.
Right? They'll get the message no matter what. But Raf, obviously, he's a successful lifter, content creator. And my underrated thing about Raf is his movie skills.
Yeah,
I think his acting is.
You're like
fantastic.
a pretty big fan, no? I think you just made a video about me. I got tagged by like some small
I
creator.
am a huge fan
Dude,
of
I
Raf.
do really appreciate the recognition, especially
of
publicly,
course.
because we've had conversations. But you like making it a video, especially in the bodybuilding sense, something I'm not as confident about.
Well,
It
dude, you're 6'5" with a good structure, and I and I. And what?
4.5 tops.
4.5 tops. No. Okay. 6 foot. I'll say 6'5" because it makes me feel better. All right. But no, like whenever I see a person who's got an impressive physique and also has the height, you just know that has a different appearance on stage. And so like I'm always thinking about bodybuilding potential just because it's part of my job.
Yeah, of course.
And so when I see somebody who's 6'5" and has a good frame, I'm like, men's physique competitor in the future, classic physique competitor in the future.
Understandable with where my legs are at right now, but I am confident about like I think I could bring my legs up significantly. That's not just like.
I mean, you've made a lot of progress over the last little while, so that's
I'd like
been good
to
to
think
see.
so. I do. I always feel, dude, especially like someone with like insanely well-developed physique, like at your echelon. I find it patronizing.
How
like
old are you?
I'm 21.
See, but that's not fair.
Like even Kai, we were on the phone. Kai Levine, very, very.
Yeah, Kai doesn't count either. He's an exception.
He's like,
to the
yeah,
rule.
dude, you got a good physique, and I'm like, man, really? Don't even. Come on.
But I'm taking a look here, and I'm thinking, okay, 21, bro. If you saw what I looked like at 21, I kid you not, you would never have guessed that I could step on a body. But you would have been like, oh, like that guy's okay.
I think I can scout out potential. You know, I think I would have been like, you know what? I can see that guy, you know, maybe being a little mirror warp frame mogger. I think.
That is what I'm known by, is the Planet Fitness Mirror Warp Frame Mogger. Dude, that Planet Fitness Mirror has done more for me than anything
You know
else.
what? I think it's a mental thing. You look phenomenal even just in front of the phone.
I appreciate it.
And
I
you know
appreciate
that,
it.
bro. Come on.
But yeah, the mirror definitely does give a little bit more aura. So.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So just want to get to know you a little bit better. Want to get them to know you a little bit better. Know your overall mentality towards training. Obviously, like we can talk about lifting concepts as well, but I've always found your overall psychological aspects a little bit more. Because there's certain people like Keenan. He's like the science information lifter guy. Like that's how I view him. You, I'm like, I see your stuff and like you have the acting content that you do and stuff like that, and also the psychological side of things, which I've found very compelling.
Really?
So yeah, so I'm very interested because I'll hear you do these longer form rants and all that stuff,
bro.
And I love those. I love seeing that. And
you know, I don't think, because like, you know, when a mutual like likes your videos, I don't think I've ever seen that from you.
Seen me what?
Like a video I posted.
I don't like videos.
Oh, what? Ever?
Okay, so very rarely.
Spotlight's on you.
It's very, very rarely. I don't know why. It just doesn't, because there will be times where I'll be watching a video and my wife's like looking over my shoulder, she's watching with me, and I'll scroll or I'll repost it or something like that, and I'll scroll.
You're like
and
scroll.
she'll be like, "Why didn't you like it?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "If you like the video, you should like the video." And it doesn't cross my mind.
Yeah, that's fair. I just wanted to put you under pressure.
It's okay. No, it's okay. You can do that. I got the answers, man.
Yeah.
It's fine. But before we get into some of that stuff, let's just talk about kind of your background. What got you, because obviously now you're a part of Ecovision, your platform's been growing. What got you started as a content creator or fitness guy? Like, give me a bit of Raf's background.
Honestly, I don't have like this BS, like, oh, I just wanted to help people. I feel like at the start, it was pretty self-absorbed. I was in a like confusing part of my life.
Age?
This, like, actually, like posting regularly,
Yeah.
would have been 18 or 19.
Okay.
Yeah, like 19, I believe.
So 2 to 3-ish years ago.
Yeah, no, I feel like it feels like it was a year ago, but that's when things, I guess, maybe started picking up. But I got out of a messy relationship. My life kind of felt like it was falling apart. I was losing some good friends. Family's always been a tough one. And I think I just wanted attention. And I had this good friend, and we both started posting on social media. We came up with this absolutely ridiculous idea to do reverse fake natty, where we claimed to be pinning, but the expectation was for us to blow up and everyone to be like, these guys are definitely natural, you know? It didn't work. I gave up on the idea.
But it's a funny concept.
I like the concept a lot. It didn't work.
If you did it now, it probably would take off.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, dude, because honestly, like, with how popular like peptides and stuff are now,
true.
people would just be like, oh yeah, another guy who's not like unnatural, because people just attribute any kind of success to like, you must have taken the easy way out just because everyone else is.
Yeah.
Anyways, it bottom line didn't end up working out. I kind of had this like lapse of conscience where like, hey, I don't want to actually like systemically lie on the internet, even if it's for a bit. I do, for the most part, just want to like, especially with how lost I've felt in my life, at least some points, build a platform so that every now and then I can kind of ground myself and let people know that like everyone's just a person, you know? Because I mean, at this point, the only thing keeping me posting on social media is the idea that like every now and then someone will reach out and be like, hey, like, you're helping. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy, especially feeling like so insignificant for most of my life. Like literally with my whole being feeling like nothing I did mattered realistically. Having someone I've never met and I probably will never meet reach out to me and say, this is important to me. It completely flipped how I look at things. Like I can do good, you know? And then I started applying that to my personal relationships more. Like this good that people witness in me, I need to practice it when eyes aren't on me. I need to always try and be this person.
So you actually saw that the social media ended up helping you develop a better mentality towards 100%. Your in-person
because when you're under the spotlight in social media, you're always thinking, you know, especially if you're someone who's relatively mindful about this stuff. You're like, okay, eyes are on me. I gotta dial in. If you can translate that to your personal life, just be like, you know, there's people around me who deserve to be treated well, and I should try to do that. And I mean, it helped a lot. And the ways I feel like it's an ever expanding spectrum, because the more you try to correct yourself, the more you actually realize that you're still doing a lot of wrong. So you're never really satisfied. But I mean, the more good you do, the more fulfilled you are, right?
And you say you're 21?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't turned 21 yet.
You're not even 21 yet?
No.
Not typically the mentality people that are 20 come to with social media.
Yeah, I don't know. I think ultimately I'm just tired of BS. You know? I used to lie a lot to get out of uncomfortable scenarios or try to make myself more endearing to newer social circles. And I can tell relatively well, I'm not a psychic, but when someone's BSing me or lying or putting on a persona, it's pretty obvious for the most part. And I just can't stand it. I think so many people have these incredible individual aspects that if they dialed in on and expressed honestly in a personalized way, everyone would think they were so impressive. And people deny that to just be like everyone else. And it's heartbreaking, you know? And I'm not like angry about it, but it does make me sad, especially when I see like these kids who are posting online. And it's one thing if they're just like finding their way, they have to make a lot of mistakes. And it's like another thing, and we're probably going to talk about this later, the parasocial relationships where they attach themselves to a persona that is not theirs and they express it so much that they're just like lost in this delusion. And people practice that socially outside of social media. Like I don't know if you've ever met that person. It's like, it could be a false confidence. It could be like a disillusioned resentment to even social interaction. Like, I don't want to talk to you, but you can tell there's a person in there, and then you can tell that's not like how they ought to be. I don't know.
No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
You had made a statement earlier where you kind of self-described yourself as a bit of a liar in the past. What's allowed you to be able to show a little bit more of your true self through social media? Because there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of people that are just putting on a front the entire time. Obviously, for you, you've kind of dropped that mask. You feel. I would assume you feel like you're pretty much yourself on socials.
Yeah.
What would you say was the point where you realized, okay, you know what, I'm going to be real. Like, this is not going to be me being fake.
Well, first I made a video being like, hey guys, I'm not actually on steroids. And I don't want to lie, right? And that was kind of like, and then I started kind of, again, I try to take time to look at myself, because for a long period of time, I was living very selfishly, and I just wanted things. You know, I want like to feel good in a relationship. I want to be financially stable. I want to, you know, feel pleasure on a regular basis, I guess. And I mean, that left me profoundly unfulfilled. So where did I look next? Like, what good can I do? And so it wasn't as much like, how do I change? It was like, how can I do more? You know? And as I started like finding these little ways that I can do well, then I started understanding the importance of honesty. You know, a message is nothing without honesty. People are really good at reading through, you know, a wall of lies. And even if they're not like practicing it, you can tell. Like when someone's BSing on social media, people eventually are going to find out, and they're just going to destroy them. We've seen it recently with like a really big guy who blew up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Eventually the lies come out. So I started realizing it was important for anything, you know, being honest, because eventually, no matter how you practice it, lies are always going to come back to haunt you. That's something I started to realize because I built a lot of relationships in middle school, high school, where I didn't know these people. They didn't know me because I didn't allow them. And we would develop these, you know, camaraderies, and then eventually I'd slip up or something, you know, and they give me a weird look. I'd feel like this heat and this pressure on me, and this like little voice almost going like, who am I? You know?
Thanks for curbing that.
Yeah. But I feel like this is really long-winded. Ultimately, I do just want to do well generally, and I resent a lot of qualities of the world. And I've gotten really good at forgiving them in others, because I understand meeting people where they're at. Everyone's in their own journey. But seeing them in myself, I find so damning. I do just want to do really well. And I mean, when you witness maybe a lot of injustices in your life, and then you're exemplifying them, and then you realize that, it's the most drowning feeling I think I've ever had, realizing that the ways I felt like I was cursed for so much of my life, I'm cursing everyone around me. That's like next level. So I think the biggest thing is like personal responsibility, understanding whether you want to acknowledge it or not. You're here, right here, with the capacity to do so much good for others. To deny that and deny the gifts that you can collect to do that better, one of which was mainly honesty, then like you're not just forsaking yourself, it's everyone around you. You know?
So you talked about the fact that most of this came through the time of being on social media, as far as these realizations. And
I actually never.
Oh, sorry.
No, I never even thought of that until now.
Really?
So I'm coming to this conclusion myself too.
That's interesting. But you had talked about the fact that there was a lot of people who I would scorn to be the right word when you were younger in high school, and like those relationships that you had those issues with. Have you found that you've been able to find your way back to any of those previous relationships after changing your overall mentality, or has that not been something that's been able to be done?
No, I haven't. And I mean, I don't think I had a single real friend until I was 17 years old. And I mean, I really wanted to be seen. Obviously, growing up, going through hardship, you want people to like be able to relate to you. And it was partially my fault, because I'd push people away with lies. But also I think that I wasn't super likable. And I mean, also like part of my environment and just how I, carried myself. But I made one really good friend, and then we started doing this.
I would say he's probably the guy who's in your skits and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. He is. But he was the first person where like I could have a conversation like this, and interest was reciprocated. So it wasn't just like, okay, I'm having one of those weird episodes where I, smoke too much and now I'm talking a lot, and no one cares. It's like, wow, this person's interested in me. They want to know more. They want to learn. They want to share. And that's so important, to have people in your life to see you and want better for you. And people don't put
It's rare.
People don't put thought into that, because like off the top of your head, when you're like, I'm friends with this guy, it's like someone you're roughly familiar with.
Sure.
I try to be pretty careful with the word friend. Like I'm acquainted to people, but to me, fundamentally, most people I consider my friends, others would consider a brother. That this is someone I can like actually lean on when I'm profoundly weak, and help carry when their knees buckle, right? It's like an actual, like, mutually benefiting relationship, emotionally, spiritually, even fiscally. You're down on your luck, I'm here.
Dang. Yeah. No, the what you mentioned there, where you said you don't really have many friends and like most of them are acquaintances, that was something that I struggled with, because what would happen is I viewed things the same way as you, and I would not say a person was my friend. And I realized that people were taking that as, you don't like that person. And that was a really big eye opener to me, because I had always thought, okay, friend is much deeper than just getting along, having good conversations, stuff like that. But then what would happen is I would see that people were seeing that as a personal affront to them. And so I've been much more liberal with my use of the word friend, because of the way that it made other people feel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to apply nuance to anything, otherwise it could, maybe rub someone the wrong way. So normally I'd say something like, I really get along with them, I like them, but we're not like super close, know? But I won't be like, I'm not that guy's friend.
The problem is the tism would strike me. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not. And they'd say, are they your friend? I'd be like, no. And
it's crazy. Just outside, Dev was swearing that you were on the spectrum. And Tori was like, no. And he was like, you're lying. You're lying. And I swore by it that you weren't, dude.
It all stemmed from a joke where somebody made a comment on one of my videos where all they said was, you seem to be really intelligent on this. Are you autistic? And I
what a way to phrase a question.
Exactly. And I just made a joke video where I was like, it was like me explaining like all these concepts, and then I just popped up that comment, and just deadpan. And from that point it became like, oh, he must be.
Yeah. And then optimal, you just leaned into
exactly.
it. But Tori was talking about maybe you going to like get checked.
We thought about doing it just for fun,
bro. You should.
No, I absolutely should.
Die laughing.
But then I felt like people might view that as,
Do you find like, because I'm going to be honest, you kind of notice some social boundaries when people are on the spectrum. I never noticed that with you.
So I would say that I became much more socially adept over time.
As anyone does.
Sure, but let's just say I was making people angry more often than I should, simply because of not understanding social protocol.
Oh, like social cues. Yeah.
So I would be in conversations with people, and it would be about 10 minutes into the conversation, and I'd realize that the person was angry. And I would have no idea why. And I would realize that somewhere along the line, I had offended them by challenging something they believed. But I thought we were just talking. And so I started to notice over time that these things were happening.
Did you grow up with like a big family or a large social circle?
Not a super large social circle. I mean, I was around people, obviously. Right. But my family was very big on like, if we had disagreements, we talked it through, we figured it out. And it was like, there was nothing personal about it. And it was just we were just debating the topic.
Yeah.
Right. And so what would happen is we would talk through topics, and the person would get angry, and I'd realize that they'd attached some personal sentiment to whatever topic we were talking about. Long story short, I have never been diagnosed.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, one of my least favorite things to hear is like, I am bad with social interactions because like I used to be awful under social confrontation. I used to be very unsure of myself. I lacked a general confidence. I carried myself poorly. I was really uncertain. Filler word, filler word, filler word. And I practiced more.
Yeah.
You know?
It's absolutely something you can practice.
I am so strongly behind the wall of if you practice anything, you will be proficient.
Yes.
And profoundly so.
Yeah.
Most people would be so exceptional at literally anything they picked because human beings are incredible. Right?
This is one of the things that I have always laughed about when people would say things like, did you know that, well, a 225 bench, only 1% of people in the world can do that. I'm like, yes, but only 1% of people have even taken lifting somewhat seriously. It's like, if you decide that you're going to be good at something, you should be in the top 1%.
If you want to talk about
category.
percentiles, look at how much people are obese and give up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're not a statistic, bro.
Yeah. No, you need to treat yourself like the individual that you are.
Yeah, agreed.
There is something that you had mentioned before that I was very interested in discussing because we were talking about parasocial relationships. So have you ever had a chance to meet somebody in person who's been following you for a little while and be able to have a good conversation with that person?
I don't think like a little while. I've had interactions with people who have followed me. I don't really think that it was ever like super invested fan. It was just more so, hey, I've seen you online.
I know who you are.
You want to get a picture or have a chat? So I can't really speak to that. I have had a young man come up to me at work and because I have a full-time job outside of social media. He came up to me. We had a good conversation. I helped him with what he needed. And then he said, oh, you should follow me back. And I was like, yeah, if I see your content and I like it, I will.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm not really like about like, I'm just going to follow everybody.
No, earn it.
Yeah. Well, also like I follow the content I want to follow because I enjoy it. I'm not just a guy who posts. I'm also a consumer of social media sometimes, right? Sue me. So when I see content I like, I'm going to keep up with it. And it's not a slight against you and like I'm better than you or I'm egoing you. It's just that's what I do. And I still value you as a person individually. If you're watching this. Oops. Anyways.
No, I'm excited for you then because let's say 4 or 5 years down the road, you're gonna have people that have been now following you for a long period of time, and they're gonna have a bit more of a bond with you, feel like they know you, and your whole expression of wanting to be able to do good for those people and recognizing that you can have impact on those lives, you're gonna start to see that return in person, and I kid you not, it is one of the most fulfilling things for somebody to come up to you and say, hey, I've been following your content since you were at 3,000 followers, and this has happened in my life as a result of it.
Really?
It's so cool, and you're going to get to experience that, and I'm excited for you to experience that.
I can't imagine. I feel like I've told, especially, I got shingles at the end of last year, start of this year, which is a autoimmune neurological disease, right? So
is that what when
it targets your nerves? It's a mutation of chickenpox.
Okay.
It was pretty debilitating, and the only thing that like kept me in some semblance of wanting to continue to post, because I felt like it was only a couple months, but it was pretty disheartening, was the massive amount of people and kids reaching out saying that what I am doing, even in the smallest way, matters. And whenever it's like, if you don't believe something's going on up there, I mean, sometimes I get proofs, even if I didn't believe. Someone reached out to me when I was in the dumps and much before shingles, and I did not want to keep doing it. It felt like nothing I did mattered. And there was no context, nothing. He just reached out and he said, hey man, I know this is weird and I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but if nothing else in your entire life, know that you saved a life. That's crazy. That's insane to hear. Lives are a valuable, precious thing. And to hear that somehow, like, because we've all been sad, but I've been very disheartened in my life and not seeing any of the beauty that surrounds me on a regular basis. And to imagine being that human being in that state and then somehow coming out of it because of the actions of someone that you'll never know. Maybe it was one word that you said in such a way that led them to something, better than removing all of their answers from their life. That's huge. And I mean, that, among other things, made me realize if you can do something good, you have to. And I want to. I want to do good, Joel.
Why?
Because I think that for a long time I resented the world for never granting me the justice of good. And over time, losing and not gaining any answers through looking to feel good, I found that I can help others feel good through not fixing themselves, but orienting themselves better. Understanding that doing more is the answer, not feeling better. Because doing more always equates to feeling better about the entirety of your circumstance, but trying to feel better, I think, will always remove good from your circumstance, because oftentimes it replaces fulfillment and any type of responsibility, which is ultimately, especially as a person who's struggling to find your way, taking on more responsibility, trying to do more, I think is the best way to feel good. Because if you don't have proofs surrounding why you should be here, you start to feel lifeless, really not necessarily useful, which I think as a young man is important to feel relatively useful.
Do you find that mentality puts undue pressure on you, or do you find it more motivating than anything else?
I think that, again, if you order it correctly, like most things, it is motivating because, yeah, it's a responsibility of yours to find a way to be useful and do good to others. But it's also your responsibility to humble yourself enough to receive that when you're weak. So I want to do good, I want to treat you well. But if I was having a real bad day and I couldn't get out of bed, it was just one of those worst days ever, and you reached out in need of something from me, and I told you this, I'm having an awful day because of this, this, and that, I would hope and expect you to do the same justice that I want to apply to you. Like, hey man, I'm your friend and I understand. And if you need help, I'm here. So you would be impressing upon me that you can be useful, you can help. And not demanding that of me because it's my job, but understanding that when I'm capable, which is more often than not, even when you feel like you're in the dumps, you are profoundly capable of good, I will do it.
So if I wanted to sum up basically what it is that you're talking about here, your broader purpose is to have an impact in those around you. What would you say it looks like, let's say your version of this, where you would view it as, I've been successful in that mission? What would that look like for you?
So that's a hard one, because oftentimes when on my worst days, I feel like I have so much more to do and I haven't done enough, and I never will do enough. But again, it's how you order that, because the beauty in never feeling like you've done it all is that there will always be more to do. So every day I have this incredible opportunity to try and be a better man. What a gift, right? On my worst days, I kind of, fog goes over my head. I'm so far away from where I want to be. I mean, that's great. I'm always going to be pushing the rock up the mountain. There is no end goal. There is no most successful thing I can do, because I believe in mastery. It's a widely translatable trait. So if I feel like I can be a great bodybuilder, for example, I think I could be an incredible artist. Not necessarily because I see the world in this profound way, but because I can practice the art of effort compounded over a long period of time and fulfillment in effort, right? Understanding that I can always do something. Human beings want to do something. Even if you can't be or feel like you're incapable, you can always be productive, and everyone craves that, even in ways they don't understand. Like someone who hates working might love hiking, but it's because there's some aspect of productivity. You're going to obtain some experience and add it to your life. You're going to see something beautiful. Even if you're addicted to psychedelics, you're trying to gain something. You want to have an additive to your life. Everybody wants that.
And the overall mentality that you have towards the way that you treat people, the way that you go about life in general, do you keep that completely separate? Because I know it sounds crazy that we're talking about this as a gym company or whatever else. It's like we haven't talked about the gym at all. But I just wanted to ask this overall mentality that you have. Does it somehow remain totally separate from what you do when it comes to your physical side of things, or are the physical and the mental just completely tied together in whatever endeavor it is you do, including your time in the gym?
That's a good question. I don't think that anything is as isolated as we try and make it. Again, I think that anything that you do well can be translated into anything else. Now, I do think that there should be some considerable separation within reason, because if you're struggling a lot mentally and you like to go to the gym, you should probably talk to a good friend, a mentor, a professional. You should find a way to share your thoughts and problems, orient them in such a way that they're real, confront them, and solve them, right? The gym can be an excellent way to help isolate that and expel some emotional fluff, to look at things logically. You will never solve your problems through a dumbbell, ever. And all those people who are making the gym their, coping mechanism, I'm fighting my demons, you're doing something awesome. You're trying to build muscle, you're trying to improve yourself physically. It's such a gift, and you're so lucky. Stop being a goober. Go and talk to a professional, talk to a good friend, a mentor, a parent, anyone who's there who will listen and help. But other than that, I think the two there is a significant overlap. I think that any quality practiced, like I said, is translatable. And I think that a lot, especially bodybuilding, is translatable into moral values. Like dieting, there's abstinence, there's like self-denial, there is, what's another one? Discipline, right?
Something I was talking about a lot recently with my audience was the concepts of delayed gratification and just how much people struggle with it.
That's a really good one. And it goes back into what we were talking about, like understanding that it's not your job to feel good, right? It's your job to try and apply good to your life, which can be so far beyond the sensation, because as human beings, emotions and physical adjustments, everything's going to be in a flux. It's not constant. So to be able to be confident in your goal, regardless of fluxes emotionally, physically, is so important. And that's the difference between, I think, motivation and what's the other word?
Discipline? Conviction?
Conviction. Beautiful. Thank you. There's a difference, a strong difference between motivation and conviction, because oftentimes people apply motivation to their lives and be like, oh, New Year's is over. I'm just not motivated to get into the gym. I don't care, right? Nobody feels bubbly and perfect on a regular basis. It's just not how it works. But if you can convict yourself, hold yourself accountable, understand that there are rules and parameters you're going to apply to yourself, and if you break them, there needs to be a psychological zap. So you need to be strong. And that comes back to honesty, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anyone else around you. So if you can understand that your words hold weight through practicing honesty, when you say, I'm not going to have a cheat meal today, that holds weight. I'm going to go to the gym today. That holds weight, which I think answers that question better than I did before. Honesty is important because it applies weight to otherwise weightless words and endeavors.
Yeah, and honesty can be applied so far across the board. And that's one of the conversations that I have often with the people that I'm trying to help, is I say, you need to be 100% honest with yourself on what it is you are capable of making your convictions, and what it is you are capable of making what I call your non-negotiables, right? So there's concepts where you can apply it to the psychology and the mental side of things, but like we're talking about the gym, diet, whatever else, it's like, okay, what are the non-negotiables that okay, this can be me, not on my best day, this is what I can accomplish, not this is what I can do if everything falls in line, but something you can achieve every single day, no matter what, because you can make that who you are.
Be delusionally overreaching about your goals, but profoundly honest about what you can do to achieve them. A good, incredible advice that I got from a good friend is, don't worry about what you can or can't do right now. Try to do as much as you can. And when you have the time to ground yourself, lay everything out. Understand who you actually are and how you can achieve what you want to, in what ways. Because you're not perfect. You have strengths and weaknesses that others do or don't have. But what you also have is an entirely individual being and ways to conquer these strengths and weaknesses that no one else does. You just don't know it yet. Take time with yourself and lay everything on the table, whether it's fitness, emotional, or spiritual. Take time. Learn about you. You're important.
Stop the doom scrolling for a few hours and spend some time in silence so you can really see.
The amount and I mean, people will call it meditation, whatever it is. I think prayer is important. You need time for your brain to be quiet, to focus on something so much beyond you. Because the amount of numbness you get mentally from being on your phone all the time, and there it goes again, like we're wired in such a way where we need quiet. And I believe it's intentional because constant dopamine spikes means a baseline numbness where nothing is satisfying. That is intentional. So I do believe that. So it's because we're made to not be ever consuming, but to be ever inspired. So find ways to inspire yourself. In order to do that, your brain needs to be working. You need time for quiet. You need time for that light bulb to go off. And it won't if there's constantly noise, because it's going to get cloudy. You're not going to see it.
For somebody of your age, it sounds like you've experienced a decent amount of, I don't know if I want to say trauma, but a decent amount of hardship, right? A decent amount of hard things that have come into your life. And obviously you've done a very good job of working through those things and continue to work on them to overcome them. So if there's anybody out there that's struggling at this moment, maybe in a similar situation to where you found yourself 4 or 5 years ago, what would your best advice be to that person?
Try and do one good thing today, whether it's for yourself or someone else, whether it's taking care of your physical health or paying for a stranger's lunch, waving to somebody thank you when you cut them off in traffic. Just do one good thing. And then try to apply that every day after that. Try to apply that every day after that. I got some really good advice from a friend once when I was doing very poorly. And I explained all the ways I was doing poorly. And he said, get up at a reasonable time, go to the gym, take care of your home responsibilities, and do something profoundly good for someone else. See how you're feeling after that. When you occupy your time with good, it's way less likely that you won't feel good. Everyone is struggling. I'm struggling. Joel's got his hardships. I know things are hard. But you also have the beautiful opportunity of making sure people don't have to feel the weight on their own. We all do. And if you can try and do that, eventually, you might have the blessing of someone doing that for you. And if you don't, you can always be that person.
It's amazing. I really appreciate it. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Raf got way deeper than I was expecting, which I am very grateful for.
I just let it happen.
It's honestly, it's really, really good to see people of your age thinking on these things as deeply as you are and helping other people to maybe do the same. So appreciate the time. And as always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. TNF and
Raf
out.